Hello, everybody. We're not gonna we're not gonna use the live starting soon screen anymore because there's no reason for that. So there we go. So we're here today with Renzo. Thank you for coming, Renzo, and talking to me about your form of activism, which I've never really thought about doing, like activism directed towards kids. But it just makes sense that it's something that should be existing, and that yeah, well, we're gonna go into it, guys. We're gonna be talking about like vegan activism aimed towards kids, and also at the end we'll talk about the use of AI in our activism, because Renzo does use AI in his activism, and I think a bunch of activists have been talking about that. So yes, hello Martin, little vegan artist, Louis. So yes, let me just put something real quick.
I just want to
Awesome.
say I can't
Yep.
see the people in the chat, by the way, because I'm connected through my phone. So if there's any comments or anything, just let me know. And hello,
Mhm.
everyone.
Yep. Awesome. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna first hear about Renzo's story. How did you become vegan? How did you get into activism? And how did you get into that specific form of activism?
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay. Hello, everybody. So my name is Renzo. I'm an artist. I do music. I do music productions. I sing. I do videos, visual effects, animations, that kind of stuff. And I'm a vegan since 3 years. How did that happen? So I was first a vegetarian in the year 2015, uh, because I bonded with a dog. So that just got me thinking. But I was still like not aware of the full scope of animal exploitation and like the problem with the mentality. So just fast forward to the year 2019, and I moved to the countryside. And here, just I thought that I was just going to see, you know, happy animals, like in TV commercials and stuff. But I saw just the complete opposite. Like the first thing that really caught my attention was obviously cats and dogs, 'cause I was not vegan, right? So yeah, cats and dogs here, like they get abused. People generally don't sterilize them, so they are like everywhere, like overpopulated. They get, poisoned, run over by cars, abandoned, all that stuff. So I remember like that kind of thing like really triggered me at the beginning, but then I saw further, and I realized that, for example, in the Facebook page of my town, uh, other animals such as cows, pigs, lambs, fish. Um, Chickens, they were being traded literally like slaves. So being fattened up, bought, sold, killed, people taking pictures of their corpses, in barbecues and stuff. So that really got into me, and it was just like one day, overnight. I remember we had like milk in the fridge, and it was my girlfriend at the time who just saw it and just told me like, I'm not having that anymore. So like I looked at her and was like, yeah, that totally makes sense, right? We don't have to participate in that. So it was like more or less like that, pretty much like a feeling at first, like we didn't want to participate in that. But then I got into uh, watching the activist YouTubers, and there is where I actually like learned the logic behind it, the arguments, and after that I just couldn't believe the world, right? It just makes so much sense. And for some reason, the same way I was before I went vegan, people just don't seem to care or something. So I think that's more or less how I got started being a vegan. But then activism, I think it just started this year actually. I was an activist before, but probably I was like more frustrated because the only things that I was doing was like sharing, stuff maybe in my own socials, and I just or maybe even getting into fights like on Facebook, stuff like that, and it just brought like more frustration to me. I couldn't see that I was making any changes. You know how haters are on online, so like it just seemed like it was like a lost cause. So since now that I started doing this series, I just feel like there's like a lot more potential to kind of make a change.
Mhm. Yeah. I relate because I mean a lot of us start like this, and it's a very valid form of activism. It's a great form of activism, the common activism,
Mhm.
and it's to me from all the types that I've done, which is not like all of them. Obviously, I haven't done like the harder types like investigations um, or disruptions. I haven't done that. But when it comes to like outreach versus comments, the comments are way worse to deal with because people have this shield, and yeah, yeah, I understand that. And just when you make content, you don't have to look at the comments, and so
Mhm.
it's so much more empowering because it's like, well, it's out there anyways, you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And people in comments just would repeat any you know anything that they would hear online, doesn't matter if it's true or not. So it's like it's like a lost case, but yeah, so definitely starting this project was something different for me, right? I also have done a couple of street outreach. So, but just two. I did one with We the Free last month, and then I was in another country, but they connected me with people here in my country. So I started meeting activists here, and I was able to go to do street activism with them. And so now I feel like more supported,
mhm, okay, cool.
better.
And also,
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, guys, if you do comment activism or you want to do that, whatever, I know someone who did only that, comment activism literally every day. Like, you don't have to do it as much. You probably shouldn't because it's extremely draining. But he actually had a lot of success with it. So it can be really successful. Like he said he's actually had a lot of people coming into his DMs and asking him how to be starting, like a big vegan, etc. And so it is possible. It's just it's extremely draining as well. And sometimes you sometimes you plant seeds, but you don't see any results at all because you don't know what's gonna happen. But anyways, yeah. All right. So
Cool.
all right. So I think what could be good to introduce your channel and the type of activism you do would be to watch a few videos of you, see kind of
Yeah,
like
that's
what
great.
it's about. Like,
That's great. Shall I maybe recommend you a couple?
yeah.
Because well, for now my channel only has songs that I'm making, right? But it's not the entire idea of the channel. Later on, I would like to create a story and all of that. And there is one video that is not a song that maybe we can look through. It's about like 5 minutes, and it's the one where the character explains why she goes vegan. I don't know
Why I went
if you're,
vegan?
yeah, let's watch that one.
All right.
Can you guess what happened that made me go vegan? What is that word? What I saw made me understand.
Aren't you one of those vegans?
Gitos! Hello, Gitos! It's me, Valiente! I have a special story to share with you today about how I became a vegan and made some amazing new friends. It's story time! So, when I was 3 years old, I used to visit a local dairy farm with my mom. In that farm, I made friends with a playful young cow. She was so curious and sweet. I named her Vicky. I loved feeding her apples and spending time with her. Soon, I was told that Vicky was going to have a baby for the first time. I didn't really understand how she was becoming a mom since there were only female cows in the farm. I also didn't understand why she would become a bit more fearful after getting pregnant. But I was still excited for her. Months passed, and one day, I looked out my window and couldn't believe what I saw. The farmer was taking Vicky's newborn cow away from her. I was so worried. I asked my mom if we could follow the farmer's truck, and so we did, and arrived at a very scary place called a slaughterhouse. It was at that moment when we got there that I realized the farmer was about to sell Vicky's baby for veal. Just imagine. His life and his mom meant everything to him, and both were about to be taken away. And for what? I learned afterwards that the farmer was going to sell the baby because he didn't want him to drink the milk he was selling. And since Vicky's baby was male and wouldn't produce milk, he was considered useless. I ran up to him with tears in my eyes and begged him, please, please don't take Vicky's baby away. The business owner of the slaughterhouse looked at me and said,
Aren't you one of those vegans?
I thought to myself, what is that word? I've never heard that word before. Suddenly, the farmer realized that he was blind to Vicky's suffering and understood that the baby cow didn't deserve for this to happen to him. So, he decided to give the baby cow back. Hooray! We took Vicky and her baby to a nearby sanctuary where they would be safe and happy. At the sanctuary, I saw someone wearing a t-shirt that said, Live Vegan, and asked, what is a vegan? They explained that being vegan means to respect the animals and not use them for our own gains. They said animals, as sentient beings, have feelings and can experience joy and fear just like we do. They care for their own lives, families, and friends. By living vegan, we make choices that avoid treating them as products. It also means we're not supporting a system that exploits animals for food, clothing, entertainment, testing, or any other purpose. And by doing so, we're sending a message that we want this injustice to end. From that day on, I decided to be vegan. I knew I wanted to respect and protect animals like Vicky and her baby. It felt so right to me. When I told my mom about my decision, she understood and went vegan on the spot. Since then, I started noticing that animal businesses hide the truth about what really happens in their facilities and profit from individuals like Vicky. People are misled into viewing other animals as objects. This made me feel the urge to spread the message further, and that's why I then called my friend Pipe. I told him everything that happened and asked if he could help me create songs and videos to spread the animal rights message. Pipe understood immediately and went vegan too. Oh, and guess what? The farmer also went vegan after what happened. He decided to start a mushroom farm instead of a dairy farm. There are so many people in this world who are ready to confront this important truth about animals and change their actions. That's why Pipe and I started a mission to educate people and help them see that animals deserve justice. Thank you for listening to my story, Gitos Gitos. Remember, every little act of kindness counts. Let's keep shining for justice and making the world a better place for everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Right. So,
Nice.
okay. Damn.
By the way,
yeah, I really like
I
your
am
videos.
seeing amazing. I love that you like them, and I'm able to see the comments. By the way, so thank you everyone
Oh, okay.
for commenting. Great. You see, there's a
Yeah.
detail there. Sorry, that everything happens around, like, a local farm in the countryside. Just like I had my experience, right? So I think that's a good way to teach, like, the core values in a way that you don't think about, like, oh, it's just, the factory farming stuff,
Mhm.
you know?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you defined veganism in a very simple way. Like it's sometimes a little bit hard for people, I find. And this, I mean, it's obviously very important for kids especially. So Yeah. So yes, a lot of people in the chat are like, "Wow, this is awesome." So yeah,
Amazing,
let's go
amazing.
into. So why did you choose that one specifically?
Well, because it's the only one that it's not a song, and I think it's fundamental to the story that I want to create. So I kind of wanted to get your opinions on it. Um, because this in the future, I think it's going to be like animated. I want this to be like a series, right? So like kids can like feel related to the characters and get inspired, see that they can make a change and stuff. And so this same story, I'm going to recreate it one time, you know, when the technology is available. I'm kind of waiting for the tools to get better and better. They do get better every day. So as soon as I can, I'm gonna switch into converting this into some sort of like a musical series, right?
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
the only thing that I kind of thought, like, there's two things I thought about when I was watching as a form of feedback. So the first one is like, like they all went vegan on the spot. So I think that's great to have like
Yes.
at least one or some to show like it's possible, because it does happen, and
Mhm.
it's obviously empowering. But I think it would be good to have like at least one example that is not going vegan,
Mm.
because that way you're kind of preparing them. And I think it's helpful because like the vibe of your channel is very empowering, which is very important. And it that way it is like from this vision, like from this kind of empowering perspective, we're still addressing this, like, look, you can't necessarily control people kind of thing, but you did your job, like you did what you could kind of thing. And then it's like, but there's like in playing with the, because even adults use this thing of seed planting a lot, and it would be maybe great for a kid because it's even like it's a very good metaphor. So I
Mm.
think that could be very important, because if like a kid is watching that, I think it's one of the things that you need to prepare them for, because it's really hard for anyone, especially a child, to be powerless about this.
You know, that's a very good comment, because, you know, I haven't thought about that before. And yeah, it's true that you gotta prepare kids to actually, you know, when they go into reality, they are going to see that most of the people are not vegan. So, and you know, most of adults will maybe, you know, get triggered or anything when they try to communicate this message, right? You know, because actually in this story, what I want to do is that they end up veganizing their entire town, and from
Mhm.
there, like they go in adventures, they fly into the world, right? So I should definitely be mindful of that, right? To make it a little bit maybe more realistic, and having some other characters in the series kind of reject the message, it's also a great opportunity to show to teach some arguments, right? Because
Mhm.
if they don't want to go vegan, or they you know deny the message or whatever, then the kids can learn how to, you know, explain stuff to them so that it makes sense to them, and yeah, it's a very good idea.
And I think it's a great, like, I like that idea of like, oh, we're gonna make the world vegan kind of thing. But yeah, I
Mm.
think I think there's, I don't know how you would do that. Maybe uh I don't know, like, how to make, because it's a good idea, but at the same time, like, yeah, I don't know how you would do that while incorporating this, because I do see the appeal of like, oh, you can make a town vegan because like literally, for example, in the UK, there's so many freaking vegans, kind of thing. But at the same time, I don't know how you would do that, but yeah, it's something to think about.
Yeah, yeah, I have to think about that. It's funny because I already have one of the songs that I don't know if we should watch it now. I don't think so. I didn't think about that. But in this song, the song starts with the mayor of the town giving a speech, thanking the kids for transforming the entire town vegan.
That's a good idea. That's really good. But also, like, saying, for example, like, oh, you did that for a while, like saying like it took a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
But and even then, there's still some people that are like like grumpy, whatever. Like Vegan Parallax, it's something really
yeah,
interesting. Maybe the series revolves around characters that embody the different excuses people usually use. You know,
yeah.
it's so good.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity to teach this stuff.
Oh my God, it's so good. Like, and you're the only activist I know of who's doing that, like as a like not a like as a on a grassroots level, you know, not like an organization kind of thing.
Yep.
So I think it's extremely powerful, and I just never thought of it. And also, I mean, yeah, we'll get into a lot of different points, guys. I have questions written down. So okay, so my next question to you is, what led you to focus on that type of activism, and how long have you been doing that specific type of activism?
Yeah. Okay, so I think everything kind of got started some time ago, maybe a couple of years when I asked myself if I formally asked myself if I wanted to have kids in life, and the answer was no. But that just got me thinking of the challenges that vegan kids or maybe vegan families would face in navigating in this like non-vegan world. So I just thought since there's nothing that I know of that is like, because I want to I hope I could make this more mainstream, right? There's nothing like that to support and like reinforce these values and also like inspire children to see that they also matter and can make a change, right? So, and also what we have instead of that, instead of having these resources where we just teach, respect, decency, justice, we have, in kids media and, slash educational content for kids, we have like the opposite, right? We are reinforcing the animal exploitation mentality. So, today, I don't know, you see Peppa Pig, she is eating an omelet from the backyard hens from the grandfather, right? Portrayed this stuff just like as this beautiful thing. It's basically the same thing that we got as adults with, with the ads, right? In our culture, or maybe like the labels in the supermarket, like free range, humanely slaughtered, RSPCA approved, that kind of stuff.
Like,
uh
so many kids' books are literally just farmed animals, like enslaved animals, and it's supposed to be
yeah
wholesome, and that is so huge for the
yeah
mental. I just
yeah
want to say real quick, thank you so much, Louis. It's very generous of you. Greatest Kids is important advocacy because it
Thank you, Louis.
focuses on compelling humans to change their perception and relationship to animals at an early age. Donation to support this type of crucial content. Yep. Oh my God, definitely, definitely. Yep.
Yeah, the other day I saw a video in YouTube, with hundreds, thousands of views, maybe millions. This nursery rhymes about farmed animals, right? This song was so creepy to me. They were kids singing about how they were so grateful of the cow because she was, these were the words, like working so hard to make milk for the humans, right? And it's just, to me, it's just so backwards, and this kind of stuff has maybe millions of views. So I just think like we need a counterpart for that. uh Kids are more open, right? I don't think it's gonna be like the same thing as in content for adults, right? Where maybe they're a little bit turned off just because they read the word vegan or something like that. Kids just normally would like animals and be interested in watching stuff about animals. So like I would love Gitos to be right there next to the to the other videos and kind of help kids to have their own critical thinking, so that then when they're seeing this other stuff, they know, you know.
Mhm. Hey, by the way, Louis, I will give like the $20 to to Renzo, just so you know. Okay, all right. So next question. Mm, okay, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but just in case there's other things that we didn't touch on, why is vegan, like activism content or vegan content for kids important?
Yeah, that's true. We kind of touched about this already. I think, it's just the speciesist mentality is everywhere, and in kids' content is just not an exception. And just I think we need, and uh, I know that this is activism, but at the same time, I'm thinking about this show as if it just was a mainstream show. I just hope to make it a mainstream show, right? To kind of teach the right values. I mean, or not even that, like the values that I mentioned before, right? Respect, decency, justice. We're all down with those values, right? Even non-vegans. But then the mission would be like to connect those values and show how they are met in like a vegan practice or I don't know, lifestyle. I don't know how to say,
Yeah,
and
like
they are
the
not, yeah, and they are not
lifestyle.
met when when you're doing like non-vegan practices. Like basically you can't respect someone, be decent to someone or fair to someone if you're going to use them for your own benefit, right?
All right.
So yeah, very
Okay.
important. And also I think envisioning a vegan world, right? These are the kind of things or shows or media that like a vegan world should have. And so like I'm just
We
like
will. God
envisioning
damn it.
this. Yeah, we will,
We have
right?
so many kids' books that are vegan books, which is amazing. We need that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that there may be a crossover between people who like want to have like vegan parents. I'm guessing, I'm assuming, I don't know if that's true, but I feel like they would be more drawn to like reducing the screen time for their kids because like it feels like it's more like the demographic. And so like but of course there could be a crossover where vegan kids would watch this, so it's
Mm.
great. But also it's kind of, it seems like it would be more as well towards outreaching non-vegan kids as well, like more like that because
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. The idea, and again, like kids are more open. They would watch this show for yeah because they are interested in the story and the characters. Maybe they're interested about animals. And and then it's just about teaching them again like the values that we all share, but just show how those values are make more sense when you just not exploit, not use someone, right? Just
Yeah. And
simple.
something that I've been thinking about when it comes to your channel, like I feel like it's okay. I personally know for a fact, and I think that's true for a lot of people. I mean, vegans especially, I guess, because it worked for us, I guess. But like in my childhood, like Disney movies, they are heavily representing non-human animals as
Mhm.
persons and their emotions. They're rich in their lives, their struggles. Like, oh my god! And like so many of these movies are very, very vegan, weirdly, in terms of like the value, like the way they are representing them, and it really impacted me heavily. I It's like it's so powerful because it really, like, you're literally forming your brain on what is your, like, what your environment is giving you, right? And you're like, parents of kids really have like some part of it, but like the environment of the kid is, and that works as well for adults, is it's crucial to what, like, what's gonna what they are going to become. And so, like, just in the same sense that the Disney movies impacted me in a very good way when it comes to like this type of like viewing
Mm.
of other animals, I think this is just, it just shows the power of this. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, I was thinking asking you a question. If you think that it's a good idea to portray animals as like more, I don't know how to say, personified in in this kind of content, or try to be like more realistic in this sense.
I think it's both. I think
Mm,
like I think it's okay, so I think both are great because like in the Disney movies it really does help you see them as people, but I think we need content, like especially vegan content for kids, to be the most realistic as it can be.
mm,
just so that like the kids when they grow up kind of thing, they're like there's the risk when you like when you humanize, let's say,
Yeah,
humanize them too
humanize.
much, that people will be like, well, that's on, like, it's fiction, whatever. But yeah, I think you're right. Like, this very good point. I think keeping it as realistic as possible, like, it would be helpful, for example, for you to really know like which species does what kind of thing. Because, for example, cows, they have or dolphins or cows, they have really complex social like hierarchies and things, and that could be really helpful to show these complexities and how they are really real. Like, they've been proven, and so that way you're educating them about what really it means to be a cow, it means to be a dolphin, or whatever the hell, and what they need, and so it just showing them that they are persons, non-human persons, kind of thing. I'm getting chills because this is so important. I think it's so
Amazing.
powerful.
Yeah. No, I was asking because I just can see some adults or this kind of rhetoric kind of firing back when you humanize the animals too much in my series. Not, maybe not in Disney. Of course, in Disney it had a good impact on you,
On me, yeah.
but yeah, which is great, right? But when it's a vegan activism, when it's vegan content, when you're trying to teach vegan values to someone, I can just see non-vegan adults going like, well, they're going to get mad anyways, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
just saying like, yo, what are you teaching to my kids and stuff, like they humanize the animals and they make like this whole fake thing and whatever, you know.
And it's completely unnecessary when you think about it. It's completely
Yep.
unnecessary to do that. And it's got a risk that doesn't need to be there, because if you show their actual rich lives that we know very little about, by the way, it's like the beginning of it.
Yep.
But even just a small amount of research and like proof we have is incredible. Like how I had this. Oh, I'm actually recommending that to you. This book, like The Inner Worlds, I think, of farm animals. It's
In a
something
world
like
of
that.
farm animals.
Yes, The Inner World
Okay.
of Farm Animals. So basically, they go into like the different species that are usually the most exploited. Apart from fish, they did not talk about fish, which I think is very bad. But
Mm.
when it comes to land animals, it's incredible because you're looking at like their inner, and that is a form of activism we need to do way more of,
Yep.
which is showing the experience and the richness, because that is such a huge reason of why people can distance themselves to their
Mm.
victims, is because they
Mm.
don't, the only way you can victimize someone is if you can distance yourself from them and their experience. And so that helps empathy in a huge way.
Mm.
And yeah, I think we need to do that a lot. And just knowing these things can make it very powerful when in outreach, for example, they tell you, well, they don't have rich lives, whatever. Like you can give examples and stuff.
That's great. Yeah, I'll check that book out.
I'm sorry, I don't remember the author, but
When you remember, just let me know. But I
mhm.
got it here. I wrote it down.
All right. So I need to go to the restroom real quick.
Go ahead.
Feel free to talk or whatever. Sorry about that.
No, that's perfect. I can't see who is in the chat, but if anybody sends a message, I can probably see it. So if anybody wants to ask a question, just go ahead, Lucy.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't see anyone in the chat, but if you write a comment, I'll see, I think. And I don't know if any one of you guys have seen this content before. I know that Louis has, um, but let me know if you have seen any of the videos. Oh, okay. Now I'm seeing comments. I don't know if my screen went away, but I was not seeing your comments, guys. So Chip has the questions. How long does it take to make a video? All right. So this is crazy actually because at first when I started, I took about 6 days or an entire week working on just one video. But the technology progresses so fast that like 1 month and a half later, I was able to create an entire video in just like 4 days or so. And it it will keep progressing until maybe at one point I will just think of an idea and I will be able to create a video like really fast. So that's a great tool.
All right.
Hello.
So, yeah. Okay. My next question is: what type of messaging and format do you think is
Mm,
specific to the activism towards non-vegan kids and especially non-vegan
mm.
kids?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just think about this stuff that we talked before about like focusing on core values that all of us already have, right? So that just they can feel sort of included, identified, focus on positive values, right? And then like the mission will be to show how those values align with veganism, and they don't align with non-vegan practices, right? I would say also try to encourage critical thinking, right? So in the lyrics of the songs or how the characters interact, instead of using like this kind of language like you should do that, you don't do that or stuff like that, try to make it in a way so that the question is posed and you can make a conclusion yourself, right? In a similar way on how we might do activism with people in the streets, for example, right? Encouraging the other person to think and reflect, right? So yeah, I think something like that. I don't know, what do you think? Do you have any ideas about that?
When it comes to like the format, especially, what do you think is specific? Because if, for example, if you're an activist that comes from like making content for adults only, what do you think you would have to change about your content to make
Mm,
it for kids only?
okay. Yeah, right. So, well, that's a good one. I think that for kids, you have to focus also on being like 100% truthful, right? You have to tell them the entire truth. Like don't talk down to them. Kids in many ways are way smarter than adults. They're more open. They are not programmed. So um, uh, yeah, something like that.
And when it comes to like the actual, like for example, I would guess that for kids there's way more color that is
Of
used, for
course. Yeah,
example,
yeah. Oh,
because
and
they
now
really
that you
like that.
perfect, yeah. And now that you mentioned that, also, you have to be completely truthful, explain everything that happens, in the like animal exploitation industry, but also, what you mentioned about the colors, just you got to do that in a way that you're not like overly graphic, right? You can tell them everything. You can tell them cows are separated from their kids. I mean their newborns, right? That they get killed. The reason why they get killed, because they're not profitable or everything. You can tell them everything, but just try to not be like overly graphic, I would say. And in that sense, maybe showing the colorful world, where where the values are aligned in some way. It's a good idea, like to show the positive, right?
Hmm. Yeah, the
Mhm.
potential, that's so important.
Yeah,
Even for adults, like just showing the potential can be very powerful.
yeah.
Also showing that it is like literally something that we could make happen. But also, I think something that is very important is as well like I know you're very aware of that, but like there's like a very fine line of like describing what's happening and making it seem like it's about the treatment. So it's complicated because I know you said afterwards the vegan definition and stuff, and it's like the treatment when we're describing it, it's really because we want to show the experience of the victims to connect the person to the victim. But I think actually like maybe describing like the dairy industry, I don't know. I feel like maybe a safer way to do it would be like they are in prison, you know? They're like we keep them in prison or things like that because
Mm.
I feel like maybe like the logical conclusion that I would make by watching something about like how they're separated from their babies, like well then we shouldn't separate them from their babies now, not like that we shouldn't use them and we shouldn't imprison them.
Yeah. And as long as you always take it back to the mentality, right? Like this happens because we have this mentality that it's okay to use an animal, to exploit an animal, just because we want to have something from them, right?
And we will talk about the use of AI, by the way. Don't worry.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Because people in the chat are like, ooh, how do we do it? So yeah, that's actually my next question. Like how do you make your content?
Well, yeah, I use a variety of AI tools. Um, and also I do a little bit of, I mean, I do editing and also some visual effects to enhance some stuff. Sometimes AI is not so good at rendering a chart that reads something, and I need it to be for the message of the video. So like that kind of like little details I would add in like post production. But generally, and the idea is to end up using AI as much as possible so that I can be as productive as possible, right? So for now, what I'm using that is very useful, let's start, from the beginning. I use ChatGPT, and in the paid version, you have these things called GPTs. So GPTs are it's like a bot that you give it instructions, and then they behave like some sort of application. So for my series, I have a bot that is like my assistant in the Gitos show that knows everything, all of the characters, the stories. I also programmed it a little bit to tame down the sort of like welfarist approach that sometimes GPT gives. So knows all of the lyrics of my songs, knows everything, right? So when I'm creating lyrics for a song, or I need to write posts, or I need to write about anything regarding the videos that I already made or anything, I always ask help from my Gitos assistant, right? So if I was making a song, for example, I would work the lyrics probably a lot myself, because if you ask ChatGPT to create a vegan song, it will start talking about vegetables and healthy living and stuff. But you can guide it, and then once you have the lyrics of the song, then I use a very, very amazing tool that you can use it for free, called Audio, where you create music, right? So you just write down the lyrics there, and you can generate songs. In my case, sometimes, because I'm a perfectionist, I would bring those materials to like a music production session where I, do some details or stuff. But now the AI technology is getting so good that I'm able to edit and correct details right there, and just in the AI interface. And once I have this song, I go back to GPT again, and I have another GPT that I programmed, that is one that generates the images. and also knows everything about all of my characters, the story, the look of the show. So it's very fast. I would just tell it to, create. There's a character called Pipe, for example. So create Pipe is in the park, climbing a tree, and just by giving that really short instruction, I get the exact image that I want. It knows how the character is dressed, like how he looks like, and all of that stuff. And once I have the images, then I put them into different AIs that are incredibly powerful, and actually got incredibly more powerful now. I mean, this past like 2 weeks, we got like a new generation of video generating AIs. And this is really powerful. I just input the images that I create. I give them the instructions of the animations that I need to create, and these tools would just give me the videos that I then use to edit. Right. Some of these tools are actually free. So the tools that I use, in case anybody's interested, I'm using Gen 3. These are all video generators. Okay, so Gen 3, which is paid, but then there's Kling. This is a new one that is available for free for everyone, where you can just, if you don't even have an image, you can actually just text something, and it will create just a mind-blowing video that you can use for activism, whatever you need, right? It's called Kling with K, so KLING. That's free. The other one that is free and it's awesome, it's called Luma Dream Machine. Same thing as Kling, right? All of these tools, you can, if you don't have images, you can just directly prompt text to them, and they would create amazing results. And then there's Hyper. All of those tools, if anybody is really interested in using AI, creating something, please let me know, hit me up, maybe on Instagram, whatever. I would love to help. Maybe you need to create, a thumbnail, or maybe you see use in creating some video images to do something in your activism. If you need anything of this stuff, please let me know. I will be like really happy to help. And mostly that's it. I would just, or would want to mention a few tools that might be useful for some people that are free. So when it comes to image generation, I like ideogram, because it also renders texts really really good for being an AI. So maybe you have an idea, maybe you have an Instagram account that you want to post, messages or things like this. That's a really good one that is free. Then you can use DALL-E 3, which is the one that I use for my series. But you can use it for free through a platform of Microsoft called Bing.com. So if you have a Microsoft account, which is free to get, you can enter there and use DALL-E 3, which is incredibly powerful, just for free, right? And since we're talking about AI tools, I would like to just put it out there. There's something that exists that maybe it could help you. I mentioned it to you, and I see other activists that are doing like long format videos. Maybe they go out and stream a street outreach, sorry, right? or you that you're making these lives, right, conversations. So this tool would pick a long format video, and then automatically will create sort of like viral short videos with captions, with editing. Like we're talking together right now. It would like put your one face in the top of the screen, the other one down below. It will, intelligently find portions of the video that are interesting and might be like a potential viral video. So like just imagine you're outside making some
I'm gonna
street
do
out.
that. I'm gonna do that.
Amazing, amazing. Like you're doing some street outreach. You have this 1.5 hour long video. Just input that, and then you're gonna get just one click, 10 videos that are shorts that you can put on Instagram, that you can put on TikTok, you put in YouTube Shorts, and it's incredibly time saving, right?
What's the
Let
name?
me, yeah, let's see. I have it over here. Let me see. Well, Opus Pro is
Okay,
the
okay,
name
cool.
of that's one, and there's another one called Munch. Uh, I have to say I haven't tried these tools myself, but I know that many content creators are using it. So yeah, we might as well put this stuff to a good use, right? And I think it's really empowering for activism, right? I would never be able to do what I did if it wasn't for AI. I had this idea of creating this series, and I was sort of like in pre-production, meaning like thinking about the stories, stuff that I could do. But I never thought I could do it because it would have taken me so long to create the animations and all of that. But with the help of my robot team, now I'm 50 100 times more productive. So I don't know, guys, if you have any ideas of stuff that you might want to do with AI, please ask me, because nowadays there's like an AI for everything, and it would just be amazing if we could use it for activism and like be like way more productive.
Yeah. There's this question from Vegan Paralab. Have you tried Leonardo for images? It can remember characters.
Yeah, that's amazing. I haven't tried it myself. Maybe just a few times, but I know that it's really good. And something happened with Leonardo right now that I don't really remember. It's now in another platform. Maybe Louis in the chat can say. I think now it's part of another platform, and I'm not sure if it's free or not. But yeah, it's a good one. There's many good AI image
It's
generators.
Canva.
Canva,
Canva
okay,
purchased
perfect.
it. Canva is awesome, guys, by the way.
Yeah, right.
It's free.
So that's great. So this means that now Canva can generate images, and it's powered by Leonardo, which is a great image generator. It's awesome.
I'm very excited. I'm going to look into it literally this afternoon because I want to do shorts twice a day, and that could be perfect because usually I can't do that because I have other things that I need to do. So
Yeah,
thank you so much. This is very important information. So very
yeah,
much
yeah, yeah.
appreciated.
And
Very much
and let me know also how it goes, or
appreciated.
anything like that, if you have any questions, because I'm also learning about this stuff. As I said before, I haven't tried these tools myself, like some of them. So I'm really interested to know like how it goes. I just think it will be so powerful for those people who are doing long form of content to just rapidly create short virals.
Yep. Definitely will do that. Okay, so yeah, how do you come up with like the ideas? So do you have like a process, or does it just pop up in your head?
About the videos, how
Yeah.
yeah, well, it's a lot of organization, I would say. So I have a sort of like a numbers file, right? Like an Excel file with all of the ideas that come into my mind, and I kind of develop them there. And when I feel that they're ready, it's like, okay, this week I'm going to do the fish song, right? And stuff like that. And from there, I start. I think that the most complicated thing to do actually is the lyrics of the song. And I just I start from scratch, just the idea, that I had in that I had written down, and and kind of start from there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and
Yeah.
also, sorry, knowing the story, the general story, that also gives me ideas, right? Because, like, for example, there's this song that I already mentioned where they celebrate the kids for making the entire town go vegan. So this kind of key points in my general story also inspire me to create some of the songs.
I had this question also that popped in my mind this morning or something like okay, I didn't really know the real definition of veganism, so I'll just say plant based. But I
Yeah.
became, and I used wool and stuff like that, so whatever. But I was plant based when I was a preteen teen, and so what about like I guess it would be interesting to see how different a format it would be for teens when it comes to like adults versus teens, because I guess it wouldn't be as different as with younger kids, of course, but it would still probably be a niche that would be worth going like looking into, because it's probably lacking. Probably like someone who's their age talking about their own struggles. Like I know there are vegan kids, vegan activists also that are young, and that could be cool for them to do videos and content for the people that are also
Oh,
their age, especially if they're in a vegan family, that could
amazing.
really, because I would
Wow.
I would have needed that.
That's,
But yeah.
that's amazing. I actually, now I remember that idea that I was completely forgotten, of a video where, like, you see in the video that we saw together, the character tells the story of how she actually became an animal rights activist and started making videos. So I actually wanted to create a video where the kids explain how they can actually make activism using these tools. But I'm still not sure about this. I don't really know why. Maybe it's I don't know, like, at what age a kid is like appropriate to, maybe open an Instagram account and start doing this kind of stuff. I'm kind of worried about if it might have some sort of backlash to the kids, so I just left it
I
there,
understand what you mean. Yeah, that's true, because it is hard, like as a content creator, to do it as an adult. So it would be hard for a teen, I think.
Mm,
Yeah, and also it could be like if they're really successful, it could turn into like exploitation as well. So that,
yeah,
yeah, but at least maybe like AI created things towards these ages as well. Because some people might be connecting more to, for example, me personally, I would be connecting more to that age group because that was when I was going through that.
mm,
So I would know
mm,
better than if like a younger kid, for example. So
right.
something to keep in mind, guys. There's a niche of older kids as well that is important to,
Wow.
yeah, make content for.
Right, right. There is a song about kids being an activist. I remember that in some other stream of yours, you mentioned it. The song about, being an activist kid. But in that song,
Mhm.
I kind of really emphasize. I made an intro where the character says like that you have to be, guided by a responsible adult, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And also, like, there are little forms of activism that aren't really that dangerous. For example, like chalking or making drawings or art, and then putting it on your on your house's walls or whatever. Like I don't know, like talking to other people, like just
Mm,
But yeah, they would
yeah.
get backlash, which is kind of a problem for the kids' development as
Mm,
well.
mm.
But at least giving support and saying like, well, you're not alone and things like that. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, like you can make a difference, and also like the importance of um showing some arguments, right?
yeah,
Giving them critical thinking skills and this kind of stuff. Because if the series got popular, it will happen that some kids are going to like the idea of being vegan, but they're gonna have like great backlash in their homes, and maybe,
yeah.
like, who knows, like, mistreated or bullied, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's like a dangerous
I
thing.
tried speaking up in school and I was in freaking middle school and oh my god. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, no, but like just telling them that they, like that's why also preparing them like for things like that, like as we already mentioned, it's so important because it's gonna happen and they need support. And even if it is someone who's not really connected, like it's a parasocial thing, I would like watch a vegan like a creator that wasn't even about veganism. Just knowing they were vegan, it made me feel better, you know, just because it was
Yeah,
like I'm not alone, I'm not crazy kind of thing.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about this show too, right? And I keep saying this, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but it's just like one of my goals. That I want this show to be like mainstream.
Yeah.
It's important, right? Like the thing that you say, like the kids are not alone, right? Or even not just kids, like vegan people in the world, right? So I think it's so
Mhm.
important. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what other questions I wrote down. Okay, what do you think is important to keep in mind when starting making vegan content for kids? Apart from what we already mentioned.
Mm. Well, apart from what we already mentioned, right? Because we already mentioned something that I think is very important, which is like being truthful, right? No talking down to the kids, no telling lies, omitting stuff. As long as you're not overly graphic with the things that you need to say, the truth, actually, the truth is our best weapons against the animal industries, right? We use the truth and they don't have the truth, right? They are the ones who perpetuate this idea that you can love someone and then kill them, right, for a sandwich or whatever, you know? So that's why I think like being truthful is like so important. But like maybe something that we haven't talked about is explaining how animals have sentience and their own interests. Like the animals have their own purpose in life, and we don't get to say what's the purpose of the animals for us, right? So maybe that's like a really important thing to keep in mind when we are giving the vegan message, right? To point out that animals have like their own interests in life, right, and their own purpose. Has nothing to do with anything that we want to make them be for us, right?
Mhm. And like we've already said, you know, like describing their rich experience, obviously,
Mm.
it can be helpful
Yep.
to connect.
Yeah, I'm gonna read that book.
Yeah. So how many of us activists do you think should focus on content for kids? Like if you
Mm.
were to describe like I mean what would be the ideal amount of activists kind of like in percentage, you know? If you have an idea
Yeah.
of that.
Well, it's very difficult to say like the percentage how many vegan activists should focus on kids content, but what I do know is that we need a lot of that kind of content, a lot of it. And up to what I know, maybe people in the chat can point me to some other good references. I only know about maybe PETA Kids. The other day I saw another YouTuber, the bite-sized vegan. Is
Mm. I
she
don't agree
had
with everything they say though. I think you're
no,
better
of
than
course,
them.
yeah, no, me neither. It's just that she has videos where she talks to the kids, right? She has a whole playlist of that. It's because I've searched and I just found mainly just a few videos, you know. So in that sense, I think it's definitely beneficial for maybe a lot of activists to try to present the vegan message to this whole other audience, which like there's a huge gap, right? I see you guys doing great stuff, and there's you have like this audience, and then I see that there's like a huge gap in younger audiences. So maybe that's like a great opportunity to explore, right? So I don't know the number, but uh, a lot, I would say. And also it's
Yeah.
difficult to say the number because look what just one person can do with AI, with a team of robots, you know. Maybe in numbers of activists, or there's it's not necessary to be like so much, but the only thing that I know is that we need to kind of explore that completely new audience, right?
Um. Okay. What are some things you have learned from doing this specific form of
Mhm.
activism, apart from what we already mentioned?
Yeah. No, I think it has made me a complete new activist, I think, you know, because just like I was explaining at the beginning, that I just was at the beginning, I was really frustrated with how I could make any difference, right? I got, you know, anxiety by just getting into those comments and try to explain to people. Sometimes I got angry, you know. But then doing this project just helped me kind of narrow down my thoughts, right? Because now I need to explain this stuff to kids who are actually like more open, right? But still, like I have to simplify in a way that is effective and it's true to the message, right? And so doing that exercise, and also I think I've done many mistakes in my videos, of course. I've been learning
Gonna
from,
happen.
yeah, of course. So I've been learning from doing it, and I just think that at this point I have a clearer idea of how to better present the message, and I notice that it has given me better tools to do, you know, outreach with adults in the street as well, or just to when somebody asks me a question, I'm like able to respond better, and it has taken that anxiety, just frustration and anger away, because now I feel like there's a potential to make a difference, and also like all of my thoughts are just out there, you know. Before I just everything was like kind of in my head, and I just exploded in a comment section. So this definitely has helped me become a better activist in this way. Yeah.
Yeah. And also something to keep in mind, guys, that even if you're a very small channel, you can get so many views. Just checking your analytics once you can once you can do that. It's incredible. Like you get like, I mean, even a small channel like me, for example, I get like thousands and thousands and dozens of thousands like views just through making short videos. For example, you don't even have to make long videos, even if that's great as well, of course.
Mhm.
So just remember that it's not even like you don't have to become a big account to have an impact. You have an impact
Mhm.
with whatever like even one view is already to me it's already something you did. You know, like it's already an impact. But like it's throughout time you just do a bit, and it just adds up to a lot of views. And yeah, something Louis
Yeah.
said that's very important. I share Greatest Kids videos on social media. That's a great, simple way to spread the vegan message to people who know kids or may have kids themselves. I think that's very important as well. Yeah.
Great. I'm still trying to figure out my own analytics, and maybe if anyone is thinking about doing content for kids, they have to keep in mind that YouTube for kids is a lot more restrictive for safety reasons. So, and I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm still figuring it out. But it happened to me that when I started the channel, by the way, I started the channel 4 months ago.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay, wow.
yeah. So in this more or less in the second month, I started getting a lot of views because YouTube started recommending my content. and it was great. I thought that I was going in one direction, but then just suddenly out of the blue, out of nowhere, from just one day to the next, all of my videos that were being recommended stopped being recommended, and I just stopped getting views. So I was like wow, it's growing exponentially, and then like completely like that. But then I learned that the algorithm kind of changes every couple of months, and it's
I
like a
had that
very
too. I think
common,
it's normal.
it's a common thing in content creation. And some of the videos kind of exploded even in a faster way than the previous one. But then right now, I'm again in this phase where I'm getting at least I'm getting views, but not at all like I had at one point. So I'm still figuring the analytics to understand what's going on, but it's not so easy because in kids content creation, for example, you don't have comments, right? So people can't engage in comments. So that's difficult to understand, like who's watching, what are they thinking, or anything, right? Um, so yeah, it's important to keep in mind. Also, the in the like demographics, I don't know if maybe some parent is using their account to show the songs, the contents to the kids, and so I don't know, the people that are actually watching my content, right? So I'm still figuring that out. It's not so easy with kids content in that sense. Something to keep in mind.
Do you do content outside of YouTube?
The content outside of YouTube? Well, at first, my strategy was to also make content in an Instagram page. So, like, my original idea was to create this Instagram page where I could find vegan families to kind of promote the content to them, so that they can, so that I can like support them with my content. But it was funny because when I search vegan families or vegan kids in Instagram, I just find like recipes, and the vegan families are all like sort of like plant-based. Never talk about the animals and stuff like that. So it was really hard to find people there, but I still use the Instagram account, obviously. And some of the now I'm in a phase where I am not creating musical videos, at least for maybe a month or maybe a little bit less, while I create some shorts, right? Which, by the way, get a lot of views with your shorts. I remember once that you posted that you were sort of having a burnout because the long format videos were having like less views than a short, right? In my case, it's kind of it has happened like the opposite. So I haven't seen like great response with the shorts, but I do think that they're like a very good piece to kind of structure my content. For example, last week I did a short that I posted on Instagram, where the character tells a true story that happened to me when I entered to the application YouTube Kids, right? That's an app. So one thing is making content for kids in YouTube, and the other thing is that they curate your content and put it in the app, and that's not an algorithm. That's like a person behind that decision, as far as I know. So in this video, the character explains that she goes into the YouTube app and types vegan to see what's the content, and all she sees is videos about people. There's a video, for example, of a guy tricking his vegetarian wife into eating meat, and all kinds of stuff like this, and also like just recipes, right? So basically almost nothing that will teach you about animals when you type vegan, right? So it's pretty crazy. And so like I am doing these kinds of videos that I'm putting out on Instagram as well to kind of show the reason of why Gitos is important and you know, like sort of like the mission of of the show, right?
It makes sense though. I think that you get more success with longer content, like longer
Mm.
form content, because I feel like if like a parent puts their kid kind of like with the tablet or something, they just watch the videos. Like I can't picture a small kid watching
Yeah.
shorts. It's a
Yeah.
different tab, like it's a different thing, and so it does make sense. Yeah, definitely. And they do have like a short attention span, but like I think it's a deliberate thing that parents do, that they just put them on the video thing, and the child might
Mm.
not be old enough to figure out whatever, or like they're familiar with it, so they just continue that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I just love the
thank
idea
god, because
of
man, the attention span would be worse.
yeah, no, it's crazy the attention span. But again, I haven't had like real feedback. I would love to see you know, kids react to the content. I still haven't. But hopefully I will soon, because maybe later we can talk about that. But there's some plans with Gitos even here in my country. So it's getting
What do you
exciting.
mean?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
yeah. So I have this idea. So when I started meeting these activist people here in my country, they run an activist group called Movala, and they have people in politics, and they do great activism. And we have this idea of translating the videos into Spanish, which I'm just waiting for just a little push in the technology to be able to do that more easily. Once I'm able to translate the videos, we want to we want to try to put them in different like educational context. So maybe we can go to schools, or maybe we can do events with kids and stuff like that. And I think that that will be like really valuable to you know, be able to, you know, watch the reactions and also share this content in a different way, not just have it in YouTube, you know. That's
And
really
another
exciting, I think.
really like idea, like, you know, when I guess the technology is there, because I don't know, maybe it's not there yet, but like translating all this stuff in, especially the bigger languages, like for example Chinese, I don't know, like languages where there's a lot of people. Oh my god, because
Yeah.
obviously like English is it's for a lot, like the I
Mm,
mean I think it's the language that's the most talked. Maybe no, maybe it's Chinese, I don't know. What,
mm,
or like Hindi, like there's a I just made footage, for example, with voiceover footage, and someone is going to use it with Hindi subtitles. And I think this type of activism is so incredible. Like I've done that.
mm.
I was trying to do activism where I translate to French, but I lost all my freaking French, so I can't do it anymore. I'm
You
not good
lost your
enough to do it
French.
anymore. No, but like I'm shit at French now. But anyways, this type of activism, guys, like it's just another example of how you can use any of your own personal skills or professional skills that are unique or whatever. Even if they're not unique, it doesn't matter. Just any of your skills, especially things you enjoy doing, like translation, or like you love kids, so you want to do something towards kids, whatever. Like that is a very valuable thing, especially if it's like something that hasn't been tapped into yet. Oh my god. But like in translation. And I also feel like like just obviously know that if you're going to be doing activism for kids, like towards kids, you're going to get more pushback than if it was towards you get a lot already towards adults, but just know it's gonna be
Yeah, yeah, I can
rougher.
imagine. Of course, yeah, yeah. And now that you mentioned that, you know, going back to AI, it's gonna be really soon. It's gonna be easy to just take your own videos and translate them like this into all the languages that you like, and then in YouTube you can have like multiple audios for your video. And yes, this would mean that you could reach everyone, and just, you know, by just uh, clicking the button to get the translation, right? It's already there. There's an application called 11 Labs, where you can translate or dub any content that you like, but it's still not perfect, right? But that's very, very powerful, you know, like to have your content multiply and reach all the people that you weren't able to reach before. For example, in my content, in my analytics, India is the second country that mostly views my videos the last time I checked. So I don't know, and well, in my case, Spanish to present it here in my own country.
And it makes sense also India, because they have like they do speak English a lot there. Like it's like
Yep.
one of their main languages, so it makes sense. But yeah,
Yep.
like in obviously if no, never mind that yeah, that's, I mean, we've touching on things I didn't think we would touch on, but I think it's extremely powerful. Like yeah. Uh, yes. So, oh, by the way, if any of you guys, because I know some people that follow me on Instagram at least are from different countries, and it's like English is their second language. There's a lot of activists, obviously, are from all over the world. Like, it's not just like English. I mean, it's obvious. It's just that we all communicate in English. So, um, so yeah, if anyone can translate my videos or whatever, like who is interested in that, obviously reach out to me. um, Okay. Yes. So one of my last questions would be, what would you recommend to someone interested in starting making vegan content for kids that we haven't touched
Yeah,
on?
interesting. Well, we haven't touched on, right? At least in my experience, thing that really helped was having a plan, right? So before you just go and do something, which is good, maybe have a plan before and be consistent with that plan. So in my case, I thought, okay, I'm gonna post a video every week for 1 year, right? So I started preparing materials and stuff like that, and now I see that it paid off somehow. So that's really important. And in my case, also, I was completely new to YouTube, and I used an application called vidIQ, which also is powered by a little bit of AI. This is an application that it's certified by YouTube and kind of teaches you how every like the basics of how everything works and how to make your channel successful. And it's very easy. These are like 5-minute lessons, right? Where they teach you about like stuff like doing the best thumbnail possible, how to you know the storyline that your videos should have. And well, when it comes to vegan content, and especially for kids, it's a little bit funny because like the application doesn't really understand what I'm doing as a YouTuber because it's like so weird. But still, the lessons that it gave me were really valuable. So, and it's also it's free. It has a paid version, but I use the free version where you have all of the lessons. And like if you're new to YouTube, if you want to do something in YouTube, for me it was like very, very useful, right? And also I would say reach out to other activists. You know, if you want feedback, if you want help of any kind, right? I think we're all in this together. So it's good to support ourselves. Maybe you might want to get feedback. That was really useful to me as well. You know, having conversations with vegans that are activists about the content that I'm making or what I'm planning to make and all that stuff. Definitely got me better at narrowing down my thoughts, right? And kind of getting a clearer concept of the stuff that I wanted to show.
And in my
And
experience, other activists are very like they're very helpful. Like they want to help you because they care so much, and
yeah,
like don't be afraid to ask. Usually, they will be very happy you reached out, and so yeah, definitely do that.
absolutely. And maybe one other thing, like speaking about specifically making content for kids. In my case, something that really helped was to see how other content for kids, even if it's not vegan, is made and presented on YouTube, right? So a big reference for me was the show Cocomelon. So I studied it, how they do their descriptions in the in the description section in their YouTube videos. If they have playlists, how do they manage their Instagram and all that stuff. It's great to have references. And speaking about references, the kind of like the only reference that I found of like vegan content for kids that is like bigger. If anybody knows about some other one, please let me know. But it's PETA Kids in Instagram. It was interesting to see, the words that they use, right? How did they present the message in general? So yeah, getting references from both vegan and non-vegan channels that are oriented to kids, great idea.
And keep in mind that they're not necessarily right with their messaging.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So especially
absolutely.
take Gritters as a as an example to follow for messaging, because it's kind of
Yeah, like
rare.
not copy it, right? Of course,
Yes.
try to think it through yourself and try to do it in a way that you feel, and check in with other activists as well, like having discussions about how we present the message to everyone, be it kids or adults, is very important because if you're gonna reach kids, the message is still gonna have to be the same, right? You don't want to water it down. You don't want to sugarcoat it or anything. So it's really important to be in touch with activists and as a group, kind of uh, better ourselves in how we present the message.
Yeah. It would be very helpful in the future, whenever you feel comfortable doing that, for you to actually do like some type of, because, okay, so I started my outreach with like Debug Your Brain's live stream when he made a live stream, like describing step by step how to do outreach. And I don't agree with a lot of his messaging now, but I found that as like to start as an activist, I really needed to do like to have some guide like this as an outreacher. And so I think it could be helpful for us in any type of activism we do to help new beginners, like not saying that we are perfect, we figured it out, but just like saying like how I'm doing it now, how you could start, that could be very helpful.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, absolutely right. We are definitely not perfect. We're still making mistakes, and the idea is for us to share and discuss what's like the better way that we think that this message should be presented. So definitely, it's a good idea.
All right, so now let's talk about the future of Gytos.
Well, we already talked about that a little bit, or
Okay.
maybe even everything, right? So I started with the musical videos, just like sort of like warming up, testing what I could do, what are the limits of the technology, what I can expect for the future, right? This is like my first phase where I'm doing these musical videos. Also, kind of learning about how I again how I present the message, right? But then like phase two, and I don't know if this should be another channel maybe in terms of how the algorithm works, but I think that it would be just amazing to create a story where you have the kids are characters so that the viewers can feel related to them, and they all have their own reasons or stories on how they discovered veganism and why they want to become animal protectors, and have a story so that kids can really get inspired with this, right? And with this
Yeah.
story, sorry, just
Okay.
hopefully again just make it sort of like mainstream. It just happens to be a vegan story, right? But it's a story where the characters they have to have their own backgrounds, and it can be very powerful. That would be like the second phase of Gethos, right? um you were gonna say something, sorry.
Um, I don't remember, but it must not be super important. Anyways, like I was thinking, like it's actually there's so much. Oh yeah, yeah. What I was just gonna say is like the creative possibilities are endless. It's insane, especially when it comes to kids and like the
Mm,
form of content you do because kids learn through stories. I mean, most people do learn very well with stories through stories, so that's something to keep in mind as well as activists. Like it
mm,
works really really well to do that. But also, yes, I was gonna say that there's so much more potential for like content online on YouTube because obviously this is a new TV, so I wouldn't even
mm,
worry too much. Even if you can't never put it like on something more mainstream, which it would be best if you could, of course, duh. But
yeah,
like even if it stays on YouTube, I wouldn't worry too much about it because this is the new TV. Like young people just are on YouTube; they're not really anywhere else. And
yo,
also, yeah,
no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
and also like it's there's like okay, I understand it's great that people make vegan books for kids, and I think there's way more content there for now, right? But I think we should try to not do that too much anymore because like we have a lot of these and I
Mm,
think we could benefit a lot from online content because it's not going like who is going to buy the vegan books? Vegan parents, right? Which
yeah,
need them, right? Of course, but of course, it's going to be arriving to new people that are non-vegans on when it's online. So there's more potential there as well. And of course,
yeah,
it's going to be more views. More people getting that content than if it
yeah.
was a book. So
Yeah, and you can get really mainstream in YouTube. Like the channel that I mentioned, Cocomelon, has like billions and billions of views. You know,
mhm.
when it's kids content, it can really really explode, right? Once you have billions of views in YouTube, probably some other platform might be interested in having your content.
Mhm.
So starting in YouTube is just great, and even if you stay in YouTube, it's great too. You know, just reach. You can reach so many people. And I have a third phase for Gitos that I also thought about. It would be like really interesting, which would be to have collaborations with other activists that are maybe experts in some specific thing. You know, that they could this would happen, this would be effective once the platform grows, right? So that we can have real people reach the kids as well in the context of the series somehow, some sort of school like Gito's school or something like that.
What do you mean, like real people or like
Yeah.
animating real people? Okay, yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, don't know exactly how. It could be animated. That would be like actually really cool if I could,
Mhm.
have the animated versions of real activists in life. Maybe that would be really, really
That
cool,
would
right?
probably be very easy for AI to do, right? Because you just give a
Yeah,
photo and
and
yeah.
clone their voices. That would be
Yeah,
amazing. That's a good idea. Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
it would be easier, obviously. So
Yes, and also it's just really interesting and fun for a kid, maybe liking one of the activists in the show and then realizing that the person actually
yeah,
exists in real life is like, whoa, I think that's powerful.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that's a good idea, especially like if they grow out of like watching kids content as well. It's like, well, this is kind of my bridge to the adult content,
Yeah, yeah, love it,
and
absolutely.
yeah, awesome. And also, yeah, like I think you kind of mentioned that, like just you being a YouTube vegan channel for kids will inspire other activists. Like the more you grow, the more people will be like, oh, I can do that too, kind of thing.
Mm,
So that's really like a ripple effect. That's really
amazing,
good.
love it. Yeah, that's great, Lucy.
All right, so guys, we're gonna move to the Q&A version of the live stream. If you have any questions for Renzo, please write them in the chat. And also, Renzo, while we wait for questions, do you have any other things you'd like to add?
Not that it comes to mind right now. I think we covered a lot. Um, maybe while people do the questions, if you want, maybe we can watch one more video. Meanwhile,
Yeah. Which video should we watch?
Off the Hook, the
Off
fish
the Hook.
song.
Oh, good, good, good. That's so like we have to put fish in the forefront of activism, guys,
Yes,
because
that's why.
they're always forgotten and they are the
Yeah.
most exploited animals by humans. So it's in the
Yes.
trillions for fish. Okay. Uh,
And
I'm
actually,
trying.
something that we can talk about, sorry,
Yeah.
in the beginning of the song, I use a word that I wouldn't use for adults, and it's that animals are friends, right?
Mm.
When you're talking to an adult, you don't say like, because the animal is your friend, then you don't do like bad things to the animal, right? That's like that's not a good message, right? Because they can just disconnect from that, like, I don't care about animals, and that's the end of the story. But I'm interested in what you think about this, because I think for kids there's so much more potential. You know, they normally would like animals, and so if I don't know, you know, like if I present them as friends, it could be interesting. I don't know. So let me know, because I've seen from your streams before, and I agree that this idea. Oh, sorry, that's not the song.
That's not the
That's
song?
this. I mean,
Oops.
that's the song, but it's not the video. If you could just
Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on.
maybe scroll down. Ah, there it is, the second one,
All right.
right? Ace. Yeah, that's true. So check out how I use the word friends there.
Because I already criticized that in the live where I,
And I
the
agree. And I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Geetos!
An ocean of sentient beings swimming, friends in the seas, subjects with minds so true, caring is what we need to do. Fishes feel a lot of pain, catching them is not humane. How does saving the ocean look if we don't leave them off the hook? Endless nets are such a threat to trillion individuals, but we're in debt. Bye bye cash, let's reset. Cruel visions we must forget. Fishes feel a lot of pain, catching them is not humane. How does saving the ocean look if we don't leave them off the hook? Leave them off the hook. Fishes feel a lot of pain, catching them is not humane. How does saving the ocean look if we don't leave them off the hook?
I didn't catch the friend stuff.
Oh, it was at the beginning. Swimming
Oh,
friends in
okay.
the
Yeah.
seas. Maybe I could have used maybe
Okay.
another word, really, because it was not even that important to say that they're friends. So if I was to do it again, I would choose another word. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just it yeah, we could say like our sisters and brothers, because then you're really communicating they are like us, we are all animals, but it's
That's
like
very
it's like a
interesting.
very
I'll
yeah.
write that down. It's a very, very good idea. Love it.
I had a feedback, like I had some feedback actually about this one.
Yep.
I thought it was freaking brilliant and amazing. I loved it. The one thing I was worried about though is like I feel like maybe there are some words that are a little bit hard to understand, like reset, for
Mm,
example. And I
mm.
think that yeah, there are some words that I was thinking maybe it's a little hard to understand these words for kids. So yeah, that would be
Interesting.
my
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. That's also a challenge, right? In this case, yeah, like I could have said that differently, but in some other cases, it's difficult to judge if some word or concept is too complex for a kid, and also like what's your target audience, right? For example, if you're making videos for toddlers, or if you're making videos for 6 8 year old kids, it's gonna be completely different, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish that I mean my content is meant to be for a little bit older kids, but I'm still kind of figuring out like what's the best way to, or language in that sense, right? But
Because
yeah.
we talked about like how we kind of like put all the developmental ages, like different phases of development into one group when really we need activists for literally every like
Yeah,
developmental stage, which is like kind of crazy
absolutely.
actually, but we do. Like, and there's so much, there's just so, yeah, it's completely untapped. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, because actually when I started Geekos, I was thinking more of toddlers actually, right? But then I just felt the need to be more precise with the explanation of the vegan message. And that's when I started creating songs that were a little bit more complex. So yeah.
And also they will like, yeah, you're teaching them new words as well, so they will ask their parents, what does
Yep.
that mean, hopefully. And they don't need to get everything, they need to kind of
Yep.
like just get the bigger message anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. I like to think that these videos also have like different layers of complexity. So like the images are very easy to follow. So some the main portions of the lyrics too. But then they can, as you say, like discover new words, new concepts, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's probably a safer bet to make them a little bit for older, like for little older kids, because like the younger ones will understand anyways the broader strokes of the
Yep.
meaning of the video. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we had a few questions there. So someone asked if you had videos in Spanish.
Excellent question, and I'm working on it. I'm just waiting for the technology to get to a point where I can more easily translate all of the videos. I want to have all of the videos in Spanish. I want to have like the I think it's called multi-language in YouTube. And so the same videos would you would just click the Spanish version and have them in Spanish. Um, for the videos that I can translate sooner are the ones that are not songs, are the ones like, for example, the ones that the character is speaking, the one that we saw in the beginning. It's easier because I just rewrite it in Spanish and I just change the mix that I did. But with songs, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to get the AI to actually sing the lyrics in a way that matches the song and all of that. But it's getting there. I'm I've already started doing some experiments with that, and I'm just really excited to have it in Spanish. Because as I said, I'm with this activist group Mobala here in Chile, we're gonna make things with this with this material and reach schools and stuff like that. So it's really exciting. It's one of my priorities to translate, but still it's I'm just one person for now, and it's a lot of work everything that I'm doing. but definitely thinking about making all of the content in Spanish as well.
Mhm.
See.
Awesome. Hold on. Let me just. Okay. So there was a question that I lost. Okay. Lucy, what's the best practice for Renzo to reach out to do collaborations with other YouTube channels? You'd know because you've done a lot of collabs. I mean, I wouldn't really know outside of the vegan movement because inside the vegan movement, I literally just asked them on Instagram. And so that wouldn't, I don't have any like fancy way. So
But it worked.
yeah.
I think it's great to have conversations about this content. I'm getting a lot of feedback. It's great. So actually, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Let's see if there's other questions. Guys, I don't think so. Yeah. So someone says, Renzo, congratulations for doing excellent and important work. I agree.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you everyone
So
for your comments.
thank you for watching, guys. Thank you so much, Renzo, for all the work you do. It's amazing. And also like coming to help us out about like this stuff because it's new to a lot of us. Like we haven't even considered, like a lot of us haven't even considered doing that type of activism. And
It's
the AI
new to
thing as
me as
well.
well. Yeah, it's everything is new to me as well. As I said, I just became an official activist this year or the past 4 months when I started doing this thing. So thank you guys, all of you activists out there as well, because I actually learned from all of you guys for the past 3 years. I've been watching all of your YouTube videos and stuff, and that's where I got my ideas from, actually.
Yeah, yeah. And guys, all vegans need to do activism in their own ways. There's a million types of different activism you can do. Just tap into your interests and your skills and what you enjoy doing and use that format of activism, especially online. It's very, very good online. So, of course, go subscribe to Renzo, like Greatest Kids. It's linked below. Um, subscribe, like share his videos, etc. Because like literally there's like even Peter Kids, they don't have great messaging, but I know that Renzo's messaging is really the best that I've found for kids, so really help
Thank
him
you.
out.
Amazing,
And
amazing.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry, what?
No, I just said amazing because I know that you are really
Picky.
yeah, but that's good, there's again, like there's a lot of things that I learned from your content when you criticize
Oh god.
other activist outreach and stuff.
Hmm. I want to thank people that are members of my Patreon and buy me a coffee as well. By the way, there's like links in the description if you want to help me out for like supporting my activism. So like I want to thank, Oliver, Benjamin, Zen, Tilly for Cramps, Animals Are Here With Us, Not For Us, Ian, MS, Bakul, Bruno, Hannah, and Nick. So thank you so much. It really helps me out because this is my only occupation. So any help is very much appreciated. Yes, I took notes. I will definitely look into like very seriously look into the shorts AI thing because I think that's very
Amazing, yeah.
enticing.
Please ask any questions. You, Lucy, and everybody who is interested in empowering your activism with AI. There's so much more. You can get so productive with AI. So if you have any ideas, please reach out on Instagram. My personal account. I would be like really happy to help out in any way. Yeah.
And go follow him on the other social platforms as well. Yeah, so please obviously go vegan. Be active for the animals in any format you'd like. Learn how to become a better activist throughout your life because we can always improve and we should always improve. And yeah, thank you so much for all you do, guys, and for coming here to learn. And I had a great time, very interesting conversation. I learned a lot of things. So thank you. All right.
Excellent. Me too. Thank you very
All
much
right.
for
Bye,
having
everyone.
me, Lucy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.